In this video, I'm going to be explaining a super simple 3-step process that you should be doing every time you start learning a new piece. These 3 simple steps will help elevate your piano ability and drastically improve your productivity when practicing, all by just changing your approach to how you go about learning the piece. I developed this method from learning hundreds of pieces all by ear and perfecting my approach to learning these pieces, also you don't have to, and I'm going to be sharing all the information that I've learned along the way with you all in this video. Also, I just want to say that the information shared in this video can be applied to any instrument. As this is a piano channel, there will be a strict focus on piano. But yeah, as I said, you can still gain value even if you don't play. Let's get into it. Now, what I mean by this is not just working out the key of the piece. When I say identify the key center, I'm talking about working out the key, yes, but also working out all the different triads for all the different degrees of the scale. Let me explain. Take C major, for example. The notes of the triad would simply just be C, E, G. Now, if we go up the scale, the next naturally occurring triad would be D minor, D, F, A, which is the natural flat 2 of the scale. Let's do one more example. Take the 5th note, which is a G. The triad would simply just be a G major triad of G, B, D. Once you've worked out all the different triads for all the different degrees of the scale for that key that the piece is in, memorize them and remember what they sound like. This will help you when you start learning the melody, as you'll be able to easily identify any wrong notes that you may encounter or any accidentals that you might fail to play. Now, most pieces you will encounter are built upon a very rigid chordal structure, and this structure never usually changes throughout the piece. You might find, however, in verses and choruses, you might find that the order changes a little bit, but for the most part, it remains the same. Understanding and memorizing this structure will allow you to devote more time and attention to the all-important melody, which at the end of the day is the most important aspect when you're performing. To work out the chords is simple. Simply look at the left-hand part and identify the lowest note in that left hand. Let's say you find the lowest note in the first bar to be an F. This will typically mean that the triad with the F on the bottom, which is the 4th degree of the C major scale, will be the chord for that bar. However, there are exceptions to this. Let's say the key of the piece is in D minor, and the lowest note in the left hand is also a D. It doesn't always mean that the right hand chord must follow a D minor arpeggio, because in this case the notes in the right hand are outlining a B flat major chord, which means that the chord for that section is just a B flat major chord. However, a D is played instead of the root note, which is a B flat, in the left hand. Let's look at some more examples. In this section we can clearly see the left hand descending note by note. However, in the right hand, all we're doing is simply playing different inversions of A major, which is effectively just the same chord. However, as this bass note changes, we're technically getting different voicings for that A major chord. For example, in that second half of the bar, we're playing a G in the left hand with A major in the right hand. So the chord is technically going to be a 5D chord. The 5 basically meaning the 5th degree of the scale of D minor, and the D representing the 7th of the A major scale, which is a G. This is quite a clashy chord. It's not often used, but in this case we do see it here. Once you have identified the key center and all the chordal structures, it's time to move on to melody. Discard the left hand for now. We're only focusing on the melody notes. If, like in a lot of Patrick Peitzman's covers, you have a lot of filler notes in between the melody notes in the right hand, you can discard those 2 for now. Just play the basic melody notes in the right hand and the basic triads in the left hand for the corresponding chords. Now, you should realize what you're playing will sound extremely similar to the actual song. Now, this is a good sign, as it's basically telling you that you have identified the right chords and you're playing the right melody notes. Now, once you're comfortable with the sequence of notes for the melody as well as the chords, repeat it in the loop over and over again. The goal here is to minimize the amount of thinking that you're having to do for each repetition. Only once you feel that you can play it with your eyes closed, you can start to add in the extra notes in the right hand. If at this point, keeping the left hand in is too much of a burden, you can discard that now too. We are only focusing on the right hand part. The main focus here should be accentuating those melody notes that you have just been playing and trying to keep the filler notes as quiet as possible, as they are only supporting the harmony. Incorporating these extra notes may force you to use a slightly different fingering that you were comfortable with before. That's okay, just simply go back and redo that loop with the new fingering until you're comfortable with the movement. One bit of really important advice here is do not allow yourself to play any wrong notes. If you play a wrong note during all of this, do not continue playing. It is extremely important, because allowing yourself to play any wrong notes can lead to problems down the line, which I have encountered many times. Just recently I was practicing Blackheart from Patrick Peitzman, and I'd been playing this one bar for about 100, 200 times, and I eventually managed to play it 3 to 5 times in a row perfectly. So I moved on thinking, yeah, I've got it. But 2 weeks later, the same problem has come up and I've had to slow everything right down, which is extremely frustrating. If you follow these 3 steps that I've just explained, you should find that you are much more focused in your practice sessions and have a much clearer understanding of what you need to get done in each one of them. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and I really do implore you to try this method out for yourself, as it's definitely worked wonders for me. And yeah, thanks for watching.